the letter of Titus, the Apostle Paul was evangelizing and sharing the gospel and the teachings of Jesus Christ to various geopolitical areas. And Paul reaches out to Titus and develops a strong relationship with him, similar to Timothy, and he basically starts to equip him with the prerequisites and the qualifications of an elder in the church, as Titus is staying to be faithful and build up the church in the island of Crete. Now, what's interesting is that the Apostle Paul, from verses 10 to 14, basically starts saying, listen, when you have people in the church, don't let them convince you to go back to Judaism. See, Judaism, the Old Testament, living under the law, was established as a foundation to teach people about God and how the things of God work. However, when Jesus came, he brought an additional revelation that essentially fulfilled the law. Jesus said specifically in the Gospel of John, don't think that I came to abolish the law. I came to fulfill it. So as Christians today, we're no longer required to try to live a perfect standard according to the law. However, we're called to live by the Spirit of God. And so in verses 10 through 14, again, the Apostle Paul is talking about don't go to Judaism. You don't listen to these false teachers who come into the church and try to make you become physically circumcised. You see, physical circumcision was an outward demonstration sharing where a person's heart was, that they were committing their life to the Mosaic law. And in verse 15, I love this because the Apostle Paul, as inspired by the Holy Spirit, says, everything is pure to those whose hearts are pure. But nothing is pure to those who are corrupt and unbelieving, because their minds and consciences are corrupted. Such people claim they know God, but they deny him by the way they live. They are detestable and disobedient, worthless for doing anything good. I once heard a statement that was, innocent people don't look under their cars for bombs. And though this seems like such a random statement, it's interesting because it just gives you this concept to chew upon, that when a person is living an innocent life as an ordinary citizen, they're not paranoid, always looking for vengeance and criminal activity and those types of things. But many times a person who is engaged in criminal activity and is worried about covering themselves and making sure that they're always safe, they develop this paranoid mentality. Now, I think the Apostle Paul, what his heart here is saying, it's not the law that makes us clean, it's our hearts getting into a right place. And when our hearts come into a right place, we realize that it is not by working by the law, it's not by being a perfect person. It's that when we place our faith in Jesus, we're made clean and we are able to live with a clear conscience, knowing that we could never achieve the righteousness of Jesus by the law. This is a very freeing concept, and it's also a good reflection concept for a person to look introspectively into their life. I think as God's people, it's a good question to ask. Do we view everything as pure, or do we view everything as unclean? Because when our hearts are pure, we tend to see the good in other things. And when there's a level of corruption within our heart, we tend to see the evil in everything. May the Lord bless you and keep you.